By winning their final game of the regular season, the Patriots dropped themselves from first overall to fourth overall in the draft. And while I certainly don't blame the team or players for winning, it does put them in a bit of an odd spot when it comes to this year's draft. There is no consensus first overall pick like there was last year with Caleb Williams, and there are no certainties with the Titans, Browns, and Giants what they may do with any of those top three picks in the draft. Now, I may be biased, but the Patriots are one of the most intriguing teams heading into next season and going through this offseason period with a ton of cap space, obviously the fourth overall pick, and then the moves that they've already made so far in free agency, shoring up the defense. I think that they are a very intriguing team and very promising young team to watch come draft time. This video will focus more on that fourth overall pick, going through the various scenarios that could befall the Patriots and looking at which would be best for the team as well as which may be more realistic than others. The scenarios can be broken into two main categories, both obviously involving what occurs within the first three picks. The first scenario is if two quarterbacks go inside of the top three. That would most likely be Cam Ward and Shedeur Sanders. You know, maybe we see Jackson Dart thrown around, but I really don't think that's very realistic at all. And while they may not be home runs at QB, the top three teams can all use quarterback. Obviously, you've got some question marks about what will happen with the rest of free agency. I'm recording this before Aaron Rodgers and Russell Wilson sign anywhere. So, you know, in the next few days, if he decides to sign and scraps this video again, then, you know, that's just unfortunate. But I still think that any of these three teams, even if they get one of the aging veteran options, they could all look at QB in the top three. Now, maybe a slightly more realistic option would be if only one quarterback goes inside the top three. Again, most likely Cam Ward, but possibly Shedeur Sanders, just depends on what teams prefer. And if only one quarterback goes in the top three, then the other two teams, I believe, would be opting for Abdul Carter and Travis Hunter as the other top prospects in the class, and that would put the Patriots in a slightly less comfortable position come their fourth overall selection. Now, there is technically a third option where all three teams pass on quarterback, but I really don't see that happening. I do think one of the three teams will fall in love with Cam Ward, and it's very likely that another team will decide that Shedeur is best for their future if it's the coaches that just need a guy to come in and hopefully help out and save their jobs. I don't know if Shedeur is that guy, but there's a good chance they reach just out of disparity, if nothing else. And if this happens, then the Patriots will be stuck hoping a team wants to trade up for their pick of the two QBs or taking the fourth non-quarterback off the board. And I would assume that the top two would be Abdul Carter and Travis Hunter, and the third would be a guy like Ted McMillan or Mason Graham or any other number of solid prospects, but just not top tier, you know. Now, to go through the other two scenarios, not the no QBs in the top three, just because that's less likely and much less appealing for the Patriots. If they both go inside of the top three, the Patriots would be able to take whoever's left of Abdul Carter or Travis Hunter, and that may sound like the best option, and I believe it to be, adding a high caliber player, adding the highest talent player available, and I would prefer that over having to pick between the third non-quarterback off the board. The other option here with either Abdul Carter or Travis Hunter still on the board is to open up the pick for bidding and see if anybody else values them as highly as I think they should. And if someone inside the top 10 wanted to move up to 4 and either give up a future first or a quality player, day 2 pick, something like that, I think the Patriots, with the holes on their roster, would have a pretty hard time saying no to that. If only one quarterback goes in the top 3, this would partially suck because we don't get to take one of Travis Hunter or Abdul Carter, but it opens up more of a trade market than if both quarterbacks are gone or if neither quarterback is gone. I think more teams in the 5 to 10 range are QB needy and would be willing to trade up to grab the second quarterback off the board if a bidding war broke out, than would be willing to pay a premium to trade up for Travis Hunter or Abdul Carter, just because of the way QBs are valued and how much of a savior teams can see quarterbacks being, especially those either on a hot seat or feeling like they may need to have some sort of success. If they did trade back, I really don't know who it would be. I initially had thought maybe Raiders, but with them trading for Geno, that doesn't seem likely. And then I was thinking maybe the Jets or the Saints, but the Saints seem pretty committed to Derek Carr, and the Jets just signed Justin Fields. So I really don't know if anybody else inside the top 10 would be super willing to trade up for a quarterback anymore. But if anybody did, you would still have there's a long list of guys who I would consider to be an even tier to the third non-quarterback off the board. The little list I have here is Mason Graham, Will Campbell, Michael Williams, Jalen Walker, Mike Green, Will Johnson. Really just whoever the teams above you don't decide on, any of those guys would be a high quality addition to the team. And then obviously Armand Membu has also been kind of shooting up boards. I had scripted this out before the combine, foolishly, so always gotta add a little bit in here and there. But the other option is just letting that second quarterback slide if no one's willing to pay up, and taking a shot on any of those names that I listed above. While I would love to see them get additional draft capital or players in a trade back, if they can't find a suitable partner inside of the top 10, or if they fall in love with a guy like a Mason Graham or a Michael Williams or Armand Membu, or, even Will Campbell, if they really believe in him at tackle, which I personally don't, but if they do, then I would want them to take him at 4 and actually believe in him instead of just kind of getting stuck with their 5th option after a trade back. Another topic that I would like to discuss, just because we've been talking about trades the Patriots could make, and that topic is Joe Milton. I think it would be nice to get a more impactful player or a pick in exchange for him. I know they've had talks about trading him in the past, but I would not by any means make him available to the Giants, Titans, or Browns, just because I want them to think that their only option is to take a quarterback in the draft. So those top 3 teams, picks 1, 2, and 3, they all kind of need quarterback. And I want them to think that they cannot get one through trade. So if they can't lure Aaron Rodgers or Russell Wilson or anybody there, I don't want them being able to fall back on trading for Joe Milton and hoping he pans out and giving him a shot and then taking somebody to assist him at 1, 2, or 3. I want them to think it is draft or nothing. Because the ideal situation is 3 quarterbacks go in the top 3. Because then we've got our pick between Travis Hunter, Abdul Carter, or a trade back, or any number of things. As always, leave your thoughts down in the comments below. Interactions like that shape future mock drafts and pave the way for growth in knowledge on this channel. So let me know what you think the top 3 teams will do and what the Patriots should do at 4 given the scenarios. I think my favorite is just hoping Travis Hunter falls to them, getting kind of a good weapon on offense and defense, patch a couple holes. Obviously, with Carlton Davis signing at corner, we don't really need a CB2, but if we could have Travis Hunter play like in the slot or come in situationally on defense and really play a lot of snaps on offense and kind of be our wide receiver 1 or be a big weapon for Drake May in the Josh McDaniels system, I think that's ideal for the Patriots, especially in a year with maybe some lesser tackle talent on the board, despite still needing tackle, as long as they don't go and sign Cam Robinson before this video comes out from the time between recording and the video coming out. But as always, like I said, leave your thoughts down in the comments below. Drop a like, subscribe, stick around for draft content dropping all the way up, leading up to the draft, scouting reports from the franchise tag scouting department, courtesy of my best buddy, Elijah. He is hard at work making those for y'all, and then the mock drafts that we both work on. So got a ton of content coming. Stick around. Deuces.